That's right, we have Spriggans back at it again. Volcanic good stuff, and well, these super heavy samurai decks are not calming down, and we have Umi control as well. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. Hey, it's Spriggans with a spirit package in it. Now, this is originally what Exo Sisters have been doing a majority of this format, where they're relying on the ability to get these level 4 monsters on the field without, dedicating too much of, some sort of summon along the way. And guess what? Well, suddenly things are a lot more interesting because, we're turboing into Merrymaker, and then Merrymaker turbos on into Sargass, or alternatively, we can also get to the Gallant Granite and start setting up, what we need to start doing in terms of searchability out here. So suddenly things are a lot more interesting for your Spriggans plays. Now, we are doing the full armored Xyz package in here as well. I do think that this will change once we get the spell card, because suddenly you're going to get a lot more turbo ability out of this deck as well. Obviously we're not doing anything on the low end of things here, but being able to plop out, Fortress Armor here and suddenly start turboing through things, or, getting to the full armored Dark Knight Ray Lancer set up for the defensive play, looking pretty good. I like this a lot. Also, Tally Ho Spriggans comboed up with Champion Sargass out here. We've seen the stupid, insane plays that this can do, but this deck gets tossed around a lot into the piles of it's not very good, and I understand that. All right, but with the way that the meta is right now and how diverse it can be, you can have all of these really weird decks able to do something, and I think that's what makes this format really unique in itself. So even Spriggans, of all things, are functioning out here doing well. That's awesome. Next up here, we have 60 card Volcanic Fire King. Part of me wants to look at this and go, I'm disgusted with this. But you've got to once again consider, when you can have all this different floating fire stuff working together, it kind of works. Oh, and we can't forget about this. I feel like everywhere we look around here, when you see like how crazy the format is, hey, look, you hit an M-City with a volcanic shell. Oh, well, suddenly your draw 2 just got infinite more value. Also, your volcanic package isn't really like too crazy of what you're doing here. I mean, you're on what, like 1 blaze, 1 volcanic blaze accelerator, and 1 tri-blaze. Like, this is not a crazy, addition to the deck. Like, this is all just mini splashable package. It's almost like they took the Fire King package and went, all right, we're going to go ahead and what more can we put in this deck to round it up to 60? Okay, well, we can put in some burn factor stuff / additional deck thinning, and we can also bring in like a 7 card Horus package, a 6-card Horus package for this build. I also see they're playing 1 copy of Mind Crush as well. So, I mean, typically, I know a lot of people hate this card, but the biggest thing with Mind Crush right now is with how much searchability is in the format, you're probably always going to have a dead card in your hand. This guy right here. Or, you're going to get some sort of search back. You should always have something in your hand to be able to pull this off. And, with how much searching exists in the current edition of the game, well, you'll be able to pull off your Mind Crush relatively easily. So, okay, works out. Good stuff. Man. These pendulum decks, as we're going to call them out here. This is kind of interesting. Once again, I mean, you have your super heavy samurai scales of the easiness here to kind of help you out, but you're not, how do you say, you're not going too crazy on this. You're also only playing 1 field spell in the entire deck, which is, if you're going down like trying to abuse the field spells, then maybe you want to consider the Necro Valley is, the little additional field spell that could for this build, but we're just Sky Irising with the triple talents And then, you know, if you need to board out the talents, you board in judgments along the way. This is interesting. This really is. I have not really seen a lot of people trying to engineer in Benkies with Wakashis, with this type of system, with the Draco Slayer stuff. I think this is a good idea, for sure. It's just, when you look at the state of the Super Heavy Samurai stuff, also just pendulums in general, and I've said this in other videos, I feel like the deck is lacking in certain departments. Not like in a bad way. It's just, I feel like most people were like, hey, you know, the deck doesn't feel as good as it once was. And I can agree with that to a certain extent. You know, it all comes down to innovation and what people are going to be trying to find for the most optimized ways to still get this engine off the ground. And I think this is interesting. I've said that like 8 times, but you know what I mean. Also, the mites for good old Unchained. I see that we're playing one lechery in here as well. And, of course, the one of Sloth. Hey, you know, making sure that your opponent can't actually do anything. It's kind of disgusting. Both of these little guys are going to be a pain in the butt for the opponent. Next up here, we have the underwater pain in the butt adventures of locking your opponent with Kairyu-Shin. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Most people aren't even messing around with the Kairyu-Shin deck anymore. I love this deck, but I forgot it existed. Alright, for the most part, this deck, you know, getting the chance to floodgate your opponent with the Legendary Ocean, you need to have some sort of backup plan for this. And that might be where the Sea Stealth attack comes in to kind of help you out. Or, you know, just blasting out the Dark Reef with this. But my only problem with this right now is it just does not feel like it's enough, you know. Fundamentally, though, this deck is trying to supplement some of this, like post-side decking, because I see we have Gozens in here. Technically, if you have this up and running and this, you probably shouldn't have any problems from your opponent, I feel like. I also see on the lower end of things, we're playing only 2 judgments. Double strike and double sum limit. One thing I will say in here is this is really good. Being able to Dark Roller no more your opponent, turn off their whole field, and then set up a Kairyu-Shin to clear off a field is going to be huge for you. I also playing 1 copy of the Ice Jade face up field spell, special summon this. Let's see here. So is that it? It's just a free special summon that we can link up with. Okay, that's interesting. I also see we're playing a Scareclaw Tri-Heart in here as well. Does this deck actually make Tri-Heart? Like, are we at the point that we have to abuse things like this in order to kind of get this deck to do its thing? Because if so, this is a little bit scary here. You thought Kairyu-Shin running around was a problem. Imagine having this to deal with as well. And last but not least, I wanted to cover this Flonderies list here because I've been seeing quite a few of these lists trying to get really cheeky and actually playing a single copy of Harpy Lady in these builds. I mean, I guess level 4, another monster to, you know, interact with ye old Harpy's Featherstorm here, so that, you know, you can kind of, I don't know, it just feels like another winged beast monster for you to do thing. Or, you know, you guessed it, my tech choice for my winged beast deck. But either way, sure, man, like, I think this just proves, like, how stupid Flonder is, that if you want to toss in a Harpy Lady as a tech choice, 95% of the rest of the deck is going to flow for you beautifully. Alright, and you're not going to have any kickback whatsoever. You know, maybe this is why. Ever since NPen left us, you know, this deck has had to find some interesting little ways to kind of do its thing. Also, is it possible? Possible. Nah, this entire extra deck is a gimmick, unless, you know, suddenly we're making Karen Gorgon out here, but realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. The fact that this whole extra deck doesn't even have, like, stuff like the Zeus and stuff like that just tells me that this is more or less a meme along the way. So, cool, I suppose. Interesting to see the ideas that you can bring to the table. So what do you guys think about these interesting little decks? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Stay safe out there. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.